Okay, so one of the things that always shocked me when I came out of college, and this course is going back quite some years, like 1991, graduating from business school, is that there was really very little discussed about how our relationships or our personal management of life affects our ability to get results in the workplace. It was always about like the quality of the marketing, the quality of the plan, the execution of the plan. But nobody really said that, you're going to have a bad quality plan and poor execution if you don't have your act together. So I started kind of recognizing what are these things that people do to get their act together. And one of the biggest things that I've seen, this is not exclusive, there are many things, including taking care of their physical health, including taking care of just their mental health in many regards, including their relationship with God. But what I noticed was that relationships, personal, private relationships, had the power to elevate performance for people or tear those performances down. And it was fascinating. You talk to somebody and you say, well, what's going on? So, well, I can't get this project done because, and they'll start naming 15 different things about the office or whatever it might be, or not having the right resources or tools. And then you spend enough time with them and you realize the reason they're not getting their job done is because when they go home, they have a miserable home life. And what is that? So I want to talk about what I noticed about the category of success for men and women who didn't carry those problems into the workplace and how it contrasts with those people who had those problems. From a male perspective, the men who did well in keeping peace at home and therefore bringing peace and empowerment in the workplace, in other words, they could think clearly. When a person is stressed about their relationship at home, there's like a perpetual furrowed brow that they're dealing with. So it's almost a little bit like trying to take a math quiz while you have a splitting headache, okay? Or to be exhausted and have people ask you, complicated questions, or even questions about your emotions when you're exhausted. They're going to get elevated answers, okay? It's like trying to drive effectively on a liter of vodka. It doesn't work, okay? It produces an additional stress. So what does a guy do to keep that relationship right? He does something actually interesting. And what he's called to do all the time in a relationship is it's called to protect the relationship. Now, men and women both protect their relationship by doing certain things, but he is called specifically to protect the relationship. And I'll tell you one of the ways that he does it. And this is kind of a hard thing to really grasp or understand, and it's way easier to give as advice than it is to actually implement. But he must know that his communication style and his warmth or lack thereof, or his tonality, is going to be mirrored by his wife, mirrored by it. So if he has warmth, she's going to be warmth. If he has comfort and calm, she's going to be comforted and calm. If he has agitation, she's going to be agitated. If he has sarcasm, she's going to be more sarcastic. If he has doubt, she's going to be more doubtful. If he has anger, she's going to be angry. She is a reflection of what takes place for him. And it's interesting too, because like throughout society, me as a Catholic, you would know that Mary is considered, she's represented with the moon quite often. Why? Because God, Jesus, the Son, reflects light or brings light. The source of the light comes from him and it is reflected from her. In almost every civilization, okay, ancient civilizations everywhere, women are represented by the moon and men by the sun. And they're a reflection upon what you do, which means that, brother, you've got way more control over this than you might know. Now, I will tell you this, and this is a very strong reality, that if you're with the wrong person because they are absolutely just untenable and difficult to live with and they turn everything into a problem, no matter what, there's only so much you can do. I think it's the worst thing in the world is to actually put on it for somebody that they have full control in this. But assuming that you pick the right person in your life, you do have an enormous amount of control over it. And you are not a woman and she is not a man. So therefore it's difficult. Why? Because she'll react to things in a feminine sense, which you wouldn't react to in a feminine sense, which can be over a period of time, maybe irritating. And you act irritated, what do? You get an irritated wife. You wonder why she's always irritated at you. Well, it's because you're acting irritated. So it's very important for you to actually just keep the self-control that you need to use the proper tones and to use the appropriate gentleness and kindness. Basically, you know what? You wake up in the morning and you say, the way I'm going to protect my relationship is the way I'd like to feel today. I would like to feel loved today. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to give love. I would like to have my wife be patient with me today. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be patient with her. I would like her to speak kindly to me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to speak kindly to her. And you'll notice that you will get pretty much what you're putting out on a regular basis. So that's one tip that I've noticed from guys who've actually had a really good effect in protecting their relationships in order to have clarity in the workplace. What about the woman? What does she do? Well, the women that I've noticed that have been able to bring their clarity into the workplace also have peace at home, and they do it kind of in a mirror way. And this is where the relationship works the best. Now, they don't say, well, I'm going to rely 100% on my husband to always provide for me and all my needs that I have emotionally, mentally, and if he gives me the wrong tone, I'm just going to come at him. No, because he's going to give the wrong tone. Why? Because he's not a woman, and you're going to give the wrong tone. Why? Because you are a woman, and back and forth. Not one is right or wrong. It's just that they're different. So just as the guy needs to say, I'm going to be like calm in this moment where I feel irritated and I'm going to respond calmly, she has to say, my man is a man. Therefore, he's going to be like a man. He's going to act like a man. And I'm going to give him the space to act like a man. And I'm not going to respond to that in the wrong way. Why? What do we have now? We have two people not saying, you are 100% responsible for keeping this relationship right. And if you don't act perfectly, I'm unhinged. On either side, both are saying, I'm going to actually go a little bit across the bridge from my natural femininity or my natural masculinity, and I'm going to cross that bridge over on your behalf for strength. And that person says, well, I'm going to do that too. And now what do you have? Instead of two things toenailed together, which can be ripped apart, you've got like two 2x4s glued together and screwed down 10 different times because both people in the relationship are protecting the relationship according to what they do by allowing the person to be a woman or allowing the person to be a man and then accommodating that as best they can. Now, no doubt about it, this actually happens in the workplace as well, too. Now, the difference in the workplace is that it's not a romantic thing, but it's still a masculine and feminine thing, which is very important for us to keep in mind. But at home is the most important part of it. You can be irritated by a certain person at work over a period of time and still manage it pretty well. But if you're having a difficult time with your relationship at home, why is it worse? Because this person is supposed to be the most important person in the world to you. And that's not right. You're not going to be right. So you come back and you make it worth it. It doesn't matter how many times you have to ask for forgiveness or just say that you're sorry. It doesn't matter how many times you have to swallow your pride. It is always worth it. The thing that you think you're getting out of not doing that sort of thing, you never actually get. But you do get it when you do it right. So keep that in mind. Keep peace at home and you will have peace in your profession.